Bum, 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 bum. Coming up in just a few minutes, SKYDUDE episode 379, the Archer Midnight Runway Tests. I've been manic. Manic, I say. Well, actually, she said. Manic. Manic. I actually made popcorn for this. I've eaten most of it already. Almost time. After being pecked by a radioactive bird, a somewhat mannered Tuthill was compelled to become Kinneas, the Sky Dude. All right. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be in time and space itself. Kinneas here. TGIF. My Sky Dudes, SKYDUDEttes. Tonight is a little bit different. Episode 379. We're going to be watching my video, the Archer Midnight Runway Test, and all the different chapters that I created this week. I've been manic. Well, first of all, before I get going too far, thank you to the latest subscribers, and hello to all my eVTOL Archer Midnight friends, like Bucky and like Jolene. Yeah, and you too. And special shout out to the Hustle Brothers. They're in a quiz in this live stream. Well, in the videos in this live stream. So mostly it's going to be kicking back. I'm going to be possibly making some audio commentary, but there's a lot to listen to. But I'm going to be in chat the whole time if you want to chat. So this is kind of one of those put up your feet. I got to tell you though, before we get going, I learned a lot. I have been flying the Archer Midnight well, but not the Archer way. So I finally got my hands on the user manual, and I went through it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 times, and it blew my mind. There's so much I did not know, and there's so much you will never understand about these new concepts and how to fly an aircraft. One of these new cockpit controls, dynamic controls, assigning multiple inputs to one keys, learning the proper keybinds that I had no idea to use. So much. And then I got a second joystick recently, so I'm doing the 2 joystick setup, and that posed its own problems. Either way, it's all starting to become a little bit second nature. I was definitely confused, and I hope I answer a lot of those questions tonight about maybe why you were confused. Anyway, I will see you in the chat, and I'll be relaying any chat comments you might have in the live stream. But again, grab a drink, kick your feet up, because here we go. All 5 parts of the Archer Midnight Runway tests from March 2026, simulated in Microsoft Flight Simulator. All simulated in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So what we're going to see in this order is the intro to the runway test, the intro to the user's manual for Microsoft Flight Simulator, the preface to the user manual, which was too good for me to ignore not putting in, and then the user manual setup and configuration, where we get our minds blown at all the stuff we did not know and try to set up the thing properly. And then I'm going to show you the latest runway tests, and then the ones in the previous days where I did not have everything dialed in. She still handles beautifully even if you're on a 1 joystick system. She still works well if you use a throttle. But believe me, if you haven't read the manual, you're doing everything wrong. And I hope you'll understand more as we go. All right. Here we go. Archer Aviation is pioneering a new era of urban air mobility, and at the heart of their groundbreaking work is the Midnight, a revolutionary E and C VTOL aircraft. An electric aircraft capable of conventional takeoff and landing, as well as just vertical takeoff and landing. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Archer Midnight apart from others. Led by CEO Adam Goldstein, Archer Aviation has secured a lease at Hawthorne Airport in Los Angeles. This airport will serve as a launch pad for some of their most significant steps into making air taxis a part of everyday life. In fact, the Midnight is set to be a key player in the air taxi services for the upcoming Olympics in California. marking a historic moment
I thought you weren't
in
hearing
urban air mobility.
Phew.
As for the Midnight itself, this aircraft combines practicality and innovation. It's designed for quiet, efficient operation and can carry passengers smoothly across cityscapes or cross-country flights. During the month of March 2026, Archer Aviation conducted a series of meticulous runway tests focused on the Midnight's hovering and moving about at low speed. These runway tests potentially involve wind and ground effect assessments, testing assisted throttle on and off, hover mode, hover at low speeds of up to 7 knots while performing deliberate side-to-side and zigzag patterns to gauge lateral control response and hover precision. By maintaining very low hover altitudes and executing controlled lateral shifts, the team assessed how the Midnight responded to nuanced control inputs and fine-tuned its stability. Overall, these trials were key in understanding and locking down the aircraft's precision maneuvering capabilities. What this video attempts to do is recreate some of those runway tests in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. The Archer Midnight is available for free with your purchase. Archer Midnight Runway Test in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Chapter 1, User's Manual, Config to Taxi. To get the most accurate Archer Midnight experience, it is recommended to set it up the Archer way by referring to the user manual created in conjunction with Archer Aviation, Microsoft, and FlightFX. See link in description. While one flight stick or other controller can be used, at the moment the Archer Midnight is a 2 flight stick setup. A twist axis is recommended in the user manual for rudder control. Additional foot pedals only seem to be used for braking, but in the simulator you can configure it in many ways. To simulate Archer Midnight runway tests of March 2026, this video will only mostly require the contents of the manual through the configuration, startup, taxi, and hover phase. Table of contents. Of course, it is advisable to read the entire user manual, as there is a flight assist function that is defaulted on and will need to be set to off in most situations. There are also dynamic flight controls that function and activate at different phases of operation. Dynamic flight controls may be a new concept for aviators and flight sim enthusiasts. This manual is designed to provide clear and concise instructions for operating the Archer Midnight electric vertical takeoff and landing eVTOL aircraft within Microsoft Flight Simulator. The content herein is tailored for both new and experienced pilots, offering a detailed guidance on the unique aspects of the Archer Midnight's operation. This simulation is based on an early development version of the aircraft and may not fully reflect the final production model. Some concessions have been made to simplify single pilot operations within the simulation environment. A small percentage of individuals may experience seizures when exposed to certain visual stimuli such as flashing lights or patterns commonly found in video games. This can occur even in individuals with no prior history of epilepsy or seizures. If you experience any symptoms such as dizziness, vision changes, twitching, or loss of consciousness, stop playing immediately and consult a physician. To minimize the risk of photosensitive seizures, play in a well-lit room, take regular breaks, especially if you feel tired or fatigued. If you or a family member has a history of seizures or epilepsy, consult a doctor before using this simulation. The Archer Midnight is a cutting-edge electric vertical takeoff and landing eVTOL aircraft designed to revolutionize urban air mobility. This aircraft is tailored to short-distance air taxi services, ideal for transporting passengers between city centers and airports. Capable of carrying a pilot and 4 passengers, the Midnight is optimized for back-to-back flights of around 20 miles, with a total payload capacity exceeding 1,000 pounds. Development history. Archer Aviation Incorporated, headquarters in San Jose, California, was founded in 2018 by Brett Adcock and Adam Goldstein. Their mission was to pioneer sustainable air travel, focusing on urban air mobility (UAM) solutions that reduce the environmental impact of traditional transportation. Archer's goal is to make air taxis an accessible and sustainable transportation option for city dwellers. Archer's initial project, the Maker, was a proof of concept aircraft that helped validate their technology. In 2022, Archer introduced the Midnight, which represents a significant leap forward from the Maker. Designed for commercial use, the Midnight features advanced flight control systems and quieter operations, making it ideal for dense urban environments. The aircraft's efficient design allows for rapid turnarounds between flights, providing an innovative solution for city transport. For more information on Archer Aviation, archer.com/aircraft. Sustainability and innovation. Sustainability and innovation. Archer's commitment to sustainability is at the core of its operations. The Midnight is designed to operate with zero emissions, utilizing advanced battery technology. Additionally, the aircraft's low noise footprint, less than 65 decibels during takeoff and landing, makes it suitable for use in residential areas and other noise-sensitive zones. Design features: 12 fully electric motors. The Archer Midnight is equipped with 12 electric motors, 6 motors on the leading edge that are housed in maneuverable nacelles that can tilt to aid in both vertical and horizontal flight. The remaining 6 motors on the trailing edge remain fixed and provide stability during all flight phases. Redundancy and safety. The Midnight's motor and power systems are designed with full redundancy, ensuring continued operation even in the event of a motor failure. Silent operation. The Midnight operates with near silent propulsion, emitting minimal noise during takeoff, hover, and flight, making it perfect for urban environments. Single pilot operation. The aircraft is designed for single pilot operation, carrying up to 4 passengers and cargo payload of 1,000 pounds. Specifications: power, fully electric, powered by high efficiency battery systems. Range, 100 miles on a full charge, designed for short, frequent flights. Maximum cruise speed, 120 knots indicated. Endurance, comparable to other eVTOL competitors with fast charging capabilities, allowing for quick turnarounds between flights. So basically what we're going to find in the cockpit here: multifunction display, primary flight display, MFD soft keys, PFD soft keys, the GTC Garmin touchscreen controller, the left-hand interceptor, LHI, the right-hand interceptor, RHI, parking brake, brake pedals, the autopilot panel, the remote control panel, aircraft mode switch, power lift switch, pitot heat, ELT switch, and dimmer switch. The left-hand interceptor, LHI overview. We have a hover hat switch, which is used to go forward and increase speed, go backwards by decreasing speed, and it should have a press function between hover and speed modes. It should also have a button for toga, take off, go around. The recommended keybinds for LHI are: for speed acceleration, increase flaps, and for speed deceleration, decrease flaps. The right-hand interceptor. Let me pause right there. That has confused so many people, and they're like, this thing is unflyable. Right? There's a couple of things to acknowledge: that there's an LHI assist on the PDF, PFD, primary flight display. And when you're setting this thing up, and if you didn't read the user manual, you're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to need to assign, I don't have flaps. I'm not going to need to assign flaps. But actually, for this setup, you need to bind both. Now, this is really intriguing to me. On your throttle, on your I'm getting all excited. Oh, this is good stuff. Okay. So on your left-hand interceptor, when you push forward on your joystick, that's the Y-axis. Okay. So that's the Y positive axis. When you pull back on your joystick, straight back, that's the Y negative axis. Okay. So you're going to want to bind the throttle to, when you push forward, to increase speed. When you pull backward, to decrease speed. You can try setting it to the axis and seeing if you adjust, in general, the throttle axis. and see if you get good results, it's going to be a combination between those, okay, to find out what works for you. Okay, but also binding the increased flaps when you push the joystick forward and decreasing the flaps when you pull the handle backwards. So you're assigning the flaps and the throttle to the left-hand interceptor. You can also assign buttons, like I said, on a hat switch for accelerate and decelerate. Okay. Again, same thing. Accelerate is increased flaps. Decelerate is decreased flaps. At first, it might be terribly confusing to try to do all that in one joystick control. And you may want to have a mouse wheel on your joystick or a hat switch to control acceleration and deceleration modes. Okay. Going full speed down the runway, if you're holding the joystick fully forward to get full speed, it'll only go, it'll go as fast as it can, but it won't make that transition to accelerate to take to full forward flight speeds unless you engage accelerate. You will also really not enter the deceleration phase unless you pull back and begin engage the deceleration. Anyway, it all sounds a little confusing, just me saying it. Once you set it and try learning how to fly the way they want you to fly, you might rebel a little bit. Kind of I was too. I'm like, why do they make it so difficult? Why can't they just simplify it down to one control? I get it. I get the logic behind it. Okay. The right-hand stick is just pretty much that you see on the screen there. Pretty much, it just has everything to do with movement. Up, down, left, right. When you're taxiing, you use the twist to control your nose. Or either way, the right hand is pretty much everything with flight controls. The left hand is everything just to do with power management. You can, however, like I've got kind of a wonky twist on my right joystick. So you can also set up redundant twist controls on the left LHI stick as well. Right? Anyway, once you start setting it up the Archer way, you'll figure out what you need, where you want to place things. Anyway, let's get back to the video here. RHI. It has an autopilot disconnect switch. Key components. The Garmin G3000 integrated flight deck, state-of-the-art flight management system. I love the touchscreen ones.
Fully integrated navigation and flight control solution. It includes both a multifunction display, MFD, and a primary flight display, PFD, ensuring that all critical flight data is easily accessible. Primary flight display displays essential flight information such as altitude, attitude, heading, airspeed, and other critical indicators. The PFD also offers a split-screen moving map for enhanced situational awareness. Multifunction display, MFD, shows detailed aircraft systems data, including power management, energy consumption, and remaining battery capacity.
Popcorn.
Fly-by-wire, FBW. The Midnight is equipped with fly-by-wire technology, enabling intuitive controls via two interceptors. The left-hand interceptor controls the throttle and overall speed of the aircraft, and the right-hand interceptor controls altitude, pitch, and bank depending on the current flight mode. The Garmin touchscreen controller, GTC, allows for seamless navigation systems management and flight planning through a user-friendly touchscreen interface. The Garmin remote panel controls displays on the MFD and PFD. The Garmin flight control contains autopilot settings and controls. The flight mode annunciator, FMA, displays the active flight mode, e.g. hover, forward flight, and status of critical systems such as navigation mode and autopilot settings. Soft keys, located beneath the PFD, MFD, these buttons will allow interaction with systems, menus, and flight settings. Speed button contains the acceleration, deceleration switches. Automatically sets acceleration, deceleration rates for the aircraft to either a hover or forward flight, depending on flight phase. Speed hold, hover hold. Depending on flight mode settings, the LHI to center position will enable hold mode. energy management display. The energy management system of the Archer Midnight is critical to ensuring safe and efficient operations. The energy display shows vital information about battery capacity and range endurance. Understanding these metrics helps pilots optimize the aircraft's performance during different flight phases.
Let me pause. I just noticed that I missed something here. Okay, when I'm talking about the speed control
and bank depending on the current flight mode.
Dang, just a little touch and it goes way
the
back.
Garmin touchscreen controller, GTC, allows for seamless navigation systems management and flight planning through
Let's get back to the speed button and I'll tell you about it.
Interface. The Garmin remote panel controls displays on the MFD and PFD. The Garmin flight control contains autopilot settings and controls. The flight mode annunciator, FMA, displays the active flight mode, e.g. hover, forward flight, and status of critical systems such as navigation mode and autopilot settings. Soft keys, located beneath the PFD, MFD, these buttons will allow interaction with systems, menus, and flight settings. Speed button contains the acceleration, deceleration switches. Automatic.
Okay. All right. Now, the way I understand it, they would really love for you to use the left-hand controller when you push forward to control your throttle. If you just ease it forward a tiny bit and get rolling a little bit and then bring the joystick back to neutral, you'll maintain a nice, slow, controlled taxi speed. The more you push it forward, you'll start picking up speed. Whenever you release it and put it back to neutral, it'll try to maintain the speed you had it as. When you're going full speed, they want you to be able to push full forward, and that will engage the acceleration. Okay? If you're having a difficult time, like in that picture right there, you see that button right there says ACEL and decel. You can set that, all right, like a hat switch to function as ACEL and decel. Now, the speed button, now your hat switch might have a push button function on it as well. And that's what I'm really saying is you can use ACEL, decel, and then when you push it, it can go into either hover mode or autopilot speed hold. All right. So as you're cruising around up in the air, when you pull back and you want to slow down a little bit and you get to the desired speed you want, you push the button and it stops. It locks your speed right where you push your button. Speed up a little bit, build up speed, get to the speed you want, click the button. It'll hold the speed you want. Okay? That's worth its weight in gold. It's really a nice function. Because in traditional aircraft, other than if you don't have an auto throttle, how else can you control, the aircraft? Anyway, so having an alternative button. Now, in the simulator, the green button that says speed increase and decrease, that doesn't actually function in the simulator. But if you've got two hat controllers or other buttons, you can also control the increase and decrease of the throttle with another button on top. Okay, now, let me warn you here. You can use your natural slider on your joystick to increase throttle and decrease throttle. The big warning with that is if your throttle slider isn't always in, when you're taking off and rolling or getting going, if it's not in the neutral position when you start, you can go shooting forward. Or if the reverse thrust part is enabled, you can find yourself flying immediately backwards when you get things going and crash. Okay, I've done a lot of crashes recently by not being able to keep my slider in a neutral detent area. It's really rather difficult. So yes, you can use your slider throttle as throttle, but again, it brings a little bit of challenge with it. Here we go. Back to it. Oh, and on the side there, I mentioned earlier that it's got a TOGA, T-O-G-A button, like a thumbstick button on the LHI. So when you're lined up on a runway and you're increasing speed to takeoff speed, going down a runway with an airliner or other things, you engage TOGA mode. And that configures the aircraft to take off and or go around, thus TOGA. Anyway, this manual really doesn't cover takeoffs and flying. It's about runway tests. So we don't really use the TOGA. There are a couple of times where I'm going to do some liftoffs and I'll mention it, but for these kind of tests, it really wasn't needed. But I'm just letting you know that's it showed up earlier in the video. I did a close-up on it.
Automatically sets acceleration, deceleration rates for the aircraft to either a hover or forward flight, depending on flight phase. Speed hold, hover hold. Depending on flight mode settings, the LHI to center position will enable hold mode. Energy management display. The energy management system of the Archer Midnight is critical to ensuring safe and efficient operations. The energy display shows vital information about battery capacity and range endurance. Understanding these metrics helps pilots optimize the aircraft's performance during different flight phases. Quick reference guide. Pre-flight. Aircraft mode. Switch to ground position. Press soft key to clear right multifunction display. MFD splash screen. Battery status. Check battery charge on the MFD energy bar, 150 kilowatts. Flight controls. Check the LHI, the left-hand interceptor, and RHI, right-hand interceptor, for proper responses during the control margin section on the MFD. Flight plan. Program the route using the GTC Garmin touch controller. V-speeds. Set speed bugs using the GTC. Local altimeter. Set barometric altimeter as needed using B as a shortcut. External lights. Activate position and strobe lights optional. Activate signature light using the GTC. Pitot heat. Turn on as needed. Startup. Aircraft mode. Move switch to the fly position. System check. Wait for FCS flight control systems and TPS thrust propulsion system. Check to complete engine nacelles will cycle position CAS crew alerting system. Messages will appear. System check complete. FCS and TPS CAS messages will extinguish on the PFD. Parking brake. Release the parking brake. Crew alerting system messages. Ensure no red or yellow CAS notifications remain. Taxi. Throttle control. Use the LHI to adjust taxi speed, keeping it up to 15 knots. To accelerate, move the throttle control to more than 3/4 full forward. Once you reach the desired speed, pull the throttle back to the centered position. Steering. Use the right hand RHI twist axis for directional control. Stopping. Apply the brakes as needed. And that is mostly all of the user manual we will need for conducting these simulated Archer Midnight Runway tests.
All right, here we go with the most recent test. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be in time and space. Kinneas the Sky Dude here, and yeah, finally, the Archer Midnight Runway Tests in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. I'm just going to be sitting in the back commenting on what's going on the screen. I wasn't narrating this as I went. This is all footage from the last few days trying to put this together. So here we are at KLAX. And I imagine that in the future, Archer Aviation might be doing a lot of Archer Midnight flights to and from KLAX. I wanted to put that iconic tower structure that they have in the background. Yeah, there we go. So this seemed like a really great place to take off. Well, at least I thought. So a little bit of foreshadowing of the horror that is about to happen. So just taking a walk around the thing. Man, she's beautiful, isn't she? Any superhero would be happy to have something as beautiful as the Archer Midnight. So switching over to ground, that's going to start powering up the whole system. That power lift should be enabled. pitot heat is optional. Here, the screens are coming to life. It's starting to do its GPS alignment. You can see that on the PFD, the one on the left. The MFD is the one on the right. All right, I'm setting up the external power to the generator, and I'm opening the doors. Now, some interesting thing happened here. Normally, when you open the doors and then you come out to see the generator, the doors are open so you can look inside and the generator's there. For whatever reason, this bugged out right here.
And it's never happened before.
No matter how many times I plugged in the generator and started it.
Of course it happens when I'm recording.
Every time I went out of the aircraft, it closed the doors on us. And it didn't pop the generator down. So I'm not really sure. It was something that happens once in a blue moon, and of course it's going to happen while I'm recording. All right, so I'll give up here in a second with the doors. But we get a look around. Surprisingly, on those, I don't know, like a band running down the center of the seat are coordinates. And I have no idea when searching the coordinates what that has to do, the location, with Archer Midnight or Flight FX or Microsoft or anybody. Those coordinates right there on that band, running up and down the middle of the chair. Yeah. Interesting. So PDF, Sim Action, LHI Assist. The LHI Assist button is not mentioned in the manual as far as I can tell, and as far as I could find. Okay. It's supposed to assist you in taking off. I'm not really sure what it does. Okay, you're going to want to try it both ways. I almost always turn it off. Nothing. Okay. Think about it this way. And a lot of people don't even know that that option exists. And then they try to use this thing and it doesn't work the way that they want or that they think it should work. Okay. Think about it this way. With it on, you can dial in things more precisely. For example, every time I gently push the stick forward and back, I can increase 1 knot at a time. Every time I pull back, I can decrease at 1 knot at a time. I can dial in my speeds exactly just by pushing. But you do a lot of pushing. Okay? But that allows you to, again, dial in things precisely, incrementally. When you turn it off, it's more like use the force, Luke. Through a sense of understanding and experience, just by pushing forward, you know how fast you're going. It'll also tell you in flight, at least, what speed you're at. If you're in a hover mode, the same thing. You go into hover mode, push forward once, you're going 1 knot. Push forward 2 times, 2 knots. Forward 3 times. Forward 4 times, 4 knots. Right? So with it off, you just push forward. When you think you're about 4 knots, let go. And it'll tell you what knot you're at. It'll display your speed. Push forward again. Let it speed up to where you want it. Let it go. It's more of like an intuitive control. And you're not doing things incrementally. It's kind of like when you have a button set to, a button that is set to continuous action when you're pushing it or incremental. And I think that is the best way that I have found to understand what LHI Assist is. Again, I recommend you try it both ways. Try it with it on, try it with it off. Find out which one works for you. Me, I think it's easier to do it intuitively now that I'm starting to understand how they want me to control this thing. But I say that now. Nothing ever seems to work right with it on. Right? Maybe you'll find the zen of it. I haven't.
We'll find the zen.
So I always switch that off. It's always seeming to mess with what I'm trying to do at the moment.
If you know how to use the LHI assist on, please let me know. Okay.
Coming up, something they totally warn you about in the user's manual not to do.
That's the reason why I couldn't take off and begin rolling. So after you switch to fly mode, it will do a nacelle test. So it's going to rotate the nacelles up and down once or twice. Yeah, I didn't want it to be perfect weather. I wanted it to be, a little bit cloudy, moody.
Then I forget to turn off the parking brake.
One of the things they absolutely mention in the user manual is not letting it get away from you. And sometimes when you don't, if you push too aggressively on the throttle, you might toggle it to go into acceleration mode. And things like that can happen. And so what's going to happen here, and again, I can't move. Now I've left the parking brake on. Duh. So what happens here is I'm applying the forward pressure on the
surface. The surface that I spawned onto won't let me roll forward. It's like thick gravel.
I'm stuck. I'm trying to get out of,
or sand.
I'm trying to stop getting stuck,
but I can't move.
I'm forcing it all the way forward,
and so I'm holding it all the way forward, and then I use my right hand and I engage into a lift off
in case it's sandy.
But I had it pushed all the way forward.
She entered acceleration mode, and I couldn't pull back fast.
Even if she didn't enter acceleration mode,
happening
because I had the throttle all the way forward, holding it forward when I lifted off.
Careful not to
took off like a bat out of hell.
Toggle yourself into a mode.
Be very careful.
That you don't want. Okay, keeping the throttle in neutral or keeping your joystick in neutral. Very important.
Not pushing it full forward just when you're taking off.
To use one or more hat switches.
Taking it easy, be a little bit more gentle.
To just using the y-axis. Uh-oh, I ran into a fence.
Yeah, same kind of thing.
So not only am I using the
in that case, I was using the throttle control at the time, trying to figure out if that worked better.
When I push forward and backwards,
and it was in the backwards position when I lifted up
backwards for.
And I hit the
increase
fence.
Flaps and decrease flaps. I'm also using one of the hat switches to just increase throttle and decrease throttle. And then I've got a wheel, like a mouse wheel on my joystick. And when I roll the wheel forward, I've set it to increase flaps. When I roll it backwards, I've set it to decrease flaps. So I have a way to ensure that if I wanted to go into acceleration mode or deceleration mode, it's just a roll or a pull on the wheel. This wheel also has a push function. And so they want you to have a button like that on. There is a button like that on the Archer controller.
I had to manually click the button in the simulator to engage acceleration and deceleration because I did not know to bind them to flaps increase and flaps decrease.
Now, when I say accelerate and decelerate, what I mean is accelerating is transitioning. So when your aircraft is above 30 to 40 knots, 50 knots, and you want to transition into full flight mode, when you're at that kind of speed, you need to tell it to transition. So you need to either push the joystick forward one more time and try to engage the acceleration mode, or use a button on your joystick to toggle acceleration mode to begin the transition from forward flight to full flight. And same thing when you want to detransition from forward flight, rolling the mouse wheel back. At any point, gaining or losing speed, if you press the button, it will do a speed hold. Right? So you can still kind of dial in your speeds.
Okay, so we're stopping at the threshold, which you should do at all airports, practice or not. Just get in the habit of doing it. And look around, make sure nobody's coming. What I'm doing here is just a little left and right test. We're going to get into more aggressive at the moment. Touching down, I think I've decided I'm not going out on the runway just yet. I'm going to test my speeds, just putzing around the airport taxiway for a little bit. Take the brake off. All right. So when you gently push forward a little bit and then release the stick, you start moving at taxi speeds. And you don't have to hold the stick, just leave it in neutral. And now we're at, probably 4 to 7 knots, somewhere in there. Under 15 knots, so we don't get a ticket for overspeeding. That in itself is a neat thing to have in an aircraft, because whenever you're taxiing, there's no set rate. It's always you're increasing speed or decreasing speed, increasing speed or decreasing speed. You're always trying to maintain that taxi speed without overspeeding and getting yelled at and getting a ticket. There's no button you can push just to say maintain taxi speed. So you never go faster than that. With this, you kind of can.
You absolutely can.
So testing the brakes, stopping and starting. So again, now I'm going a little bit faster, like maybe 15 knots in a, down the taxiway, and slowing down again. Testing the brakes.
Just seeing how fast she accelerates and how fast she decelerates.
Start picking up some dangerous taxi speeds here.
Yeah, dangerous.
So now we're kind of getting into the vicinity of, yep, we're definitely going to get a ticket. This is very unsafe to move.
There was no flight plan engaged. Air traffic control wasn't going to give me any flack.
Yep, unsafe taxi speeds. But the brakes are doing just fine. Here we go again.
That's right. If you're not using foot pedals, remember to assign something for brakes and parking brake.
That's about a 4 knot move. We're going to go check this area out over here. See how these folks are doing. Hey, y'all. It's Kinneas the Sky Dude. How you doing today? Don't mind me. In this amazing looking eVTOL aircraft.
And CVTOL.
Well, it's a CTOL.
Yeah, CTOL.
And a VTOL, because you can do a conventional takeoff as well. And we're going to test those too. As we do our runway test, we're going to be transitioning from just non-hover into liftoff, and then we're going to come right back down. We're going to float down the runway a little bit and come back down.
Eventually,
right,
we'll get to that.
Now heading into the runway, I'm going to start doing some testing proper.
All right, so in the real world, Archer Midnight has been doing tests just like this.
And one of the things they have been doing in the real world Archer tests is zigzagging. So they've been adjusting speeds, going from 1 knot to 4 knots to 5 knots to 7 knots, maybe even a little faster, and zigzagging and testing your ability to get the nose zigzagging. You can also use your rudder.
No, not unless you're in a hover.
Well, that's in hover mode. Right now we're still in conventional mode. We haven't lifted off. We're just rolling down the runway, so all we have is, our rudder control to go side to side. But still controlling it pretty good, even as we pick up more and more speed. Uh-oh, interceptor. An encroacher. All right, so same thing. Now I'm going to start picking up ludicrous speed. Still haven't done a hover yet. And now we're starting to get into takeoff speeds. Yep, now we're definitely getting into takeoff speeds here.
Yeah, and we can totally transition right now if we wanted to.
We can probably get lift. Another encroacher. But I just want to see how fast she'll go first.
So she'll get you up to takeoff speed, but again, you would still now need to use that acceleration and deceleration button. You'd also want to engage toga.
High speed braking.
That'll configure your flaps for takeoff.
Look at that.
Or it'll configure surfaces.
not
I think I wanted
really
to talk
flaps.
or something, or I wanted to look at the United building. So came off the runway for either a taco or the building. Probably the taco.
All the tacos.
So I saw in the news today, maybe United is getting a little cold feet on Archer. It's such early days. You don't want to be like the blockbuster video of aviation, United. Just, I mean, things move fast, but it's still going to take a while. And it's inevitable. So
I believe it is.
Don't lose the faith, you of all people. Okay, so entered our first little hover. So hovering and maneuvers at different speeds as we go down the runway. So now side to side and lateral movements, as well as turning and doing both at the same time. It's like turning while doing a slew to the right or a slew to the left. So I'm going to be trying to do that and going up and down and then varying the speed.
So basically, yeah, if you're using your rudder, you're controlling your nose. If you're pushing side to
Not
side,
really that exciting.
using your ailerons, it gives you a slew action.
As they start doing more testing of not just runway activities, but doing full transitions, let's now take it to the next step, and we'll start doing lots and lots of transitions and conventional takeoffs and hover takeoffs, and then lots of landings and maneuverability, and then we'll start trying to do a lot of heliport to heliport hopping.
It'll be interesting to see what the tests Archer do next.
Is that one, weight, winds really affect the Archer Midnight
battery.
But the thing that affects it most of all, your battery power, is being in a hover.
So the coolest part about this,
the bee's knees, and while most of our time is just going to be in a hover as we do our training, it is going to drain the battery faster than anything else. And then as you add more weight, as you'll see in another test coming up, as we add heavy weight, like my kind of heavyweight, and more people like me heavyweight, into the Archer, and then we have baggage. Just how much trying to keep the thing in a hover, how quickly it can drain a battery, and I mean quick.
So yeah, they encourage you not to hover as much as possible.
If I'm ever going to be
get to forward flight as fast as
potential
possible.
Pilot for one of these things. So doesn't she just go sideways beautifully? Oh, something to note. The joystick that I'm using for my right-hand interceptor, it is old and it's got bad springs. And although I'm going to probably switch the joysticks out and switch them around. But right now, I've got too much movement that I can't really fix in the rudder of the right-hand joystick. And so normally, everything to do with throttle is the left hand. Everything to do with movement is the right hand. You can set them up redundantly. So with my left hand, I've also added in twist to control the rudder with the left hand, and shut off the rudder input on the right hand controller, and that helped out a lot. Calibrating your joysticks, as you'll see in other videos coming up shortly, you'll see that I spent a lot of time, and what you're going to see on screen is nothing compared to how much time I have spent messing with the controls and exploring different types of configurations and dead zones and extremely dead zones and sensitivities, and
it's been fun.
Oh my,
a lot of
time. I swear half a day or more in the controls. Once you get it, it all seems very simple. But getting there, no.
Yeah, she's being really nice and stable now. When I moved the twist over to the right, to the left-hand stick.
But I'm glad that I'm glad I did get a new joystick, the Turtle Beach Velocity 1, which I'm using. I think it's okay. I'm over my 14 days to return it, but I think I'm starting to wish I had. There's a couple of zones for being a new joystick. One, it's awful tight,
and it sticks.
It's really tight, and you can't. There's no ability to like loosen it. And also, a couple of the axes, maybe it's just not well worn in yet. Sometimes it'll stick a little bit to one side or forward or backwards. You just kind of, just tap it.
Not much, but if you're trying to maintain a steady hover,
smack.
My other joystick springs are so bad.
Neutral position.
Even trying to introduce all kinds of corrections,
I noticed that
I couldn't maintain a steady hover.
Tests again, which you'll see later coming up. That trying to hold a hover in the earlier tests, you can see how much deflection I was getting, especially in a clip coming up where I'm trying to just hover over a landing spot and bring it down for a landing. So the rudder control is out of control. I couldn't just get it right where I wanted. And then inappropriate calibration and or dead zones. When I'm trying to touch down, I'm kicking in other control surfaces, and you'll see. It's just a nightmare. But this test was going just fantastic as we look back up on the screen. So again, I got the nose tilted one way. I'm slewing one way, a different way. Turning and slewing at the same time. I think I'm going, is this where I go in to recharge the battery? Because I know even with what little we've been doing, no, I don't, maybe not yet. I'm going to do one recharge here in a moment.
So this is basically what Archer in the real world has been doing.
So it looks like I'm
at
just
much
doing my
slower
zigzags.
speeds, actually, at 1 knot. They'll do the whole runway. Just cruise down the runway like this, keep going like side to side, spinning around. And that's all the tests are concerned with this month, mostly. They haven't finished testing for the month, but up to this point, it's all been.
If you're having any sort of problems
like
getting your rig set up to run the Archer Midnight, I will absolutely do my best to try to help you as much as I can. I think here I was trying to build it to now to takeoff speeds. We're at 78 knots, so I could climb. Okay, so I am up at okay, so I'm in full flight mode right now, and I'm just full flighting. Now I'm decelerating 64 knots, and I'm just flying down the runway, and I believe I'm going to try to make it decelerate and go back into a hover before we hit the end of the runway. Yep, 30 knots. Yep, we're under 40 knots, so it'll start transitioning. The nacelles are going up. We come down. So again, Archer says, hey, if you don't need to be in a hover, don't be in a hover. You want to be in full flight mode as much as possible, as fast as possible. Always be thinking about how much energy you're going to need. In some of the later videos, again, what you're going to see is me not paying attention to my battery, and
I'm watching the wrong screen. I'm watching the YouTube Studio speed screen, which is lagged behind. I'm commenting on things on the wrong screen
now and off the runway, and I'm going to go do a recharge. And this one, the charger should actually show up.
I'm actually on the correct screen. I'm pulling into the
doors at all this time around.
To the parking area to do a recharge
and see how much energy we have used. Yeah, half,
over half.
Little over half, and just the messing around that we've been doing.
hey, your recharge buttons are on your PFD. You have to hit sim actions first.
To our, I was supposed to put it into ground mode
and then change that to plugged.
Plugging in
the
charger, setting it to, there's 8, 16, 32 times speed.
So when I was developing quiz questions today for Archer, one of the things that I found out is that thanks to ChatGPT, who was helping me generate quiz questions, it came up with, hey, what is Archer most known for? And it rattled off some things, including the speed of their recharge technology. And it hadn't occurred to me. I hadn't heard that before. And I said, so what's the right answer, ChatGPT? And he says, oh, they've gained a lot of recognition just for how fast they can charge an eVTOL with the generators and the systems that they've got set up. So I did not know that. But now you can actually see the charger and the hookups. And Archer, it's unbranded. Joby has a brand on their generator.
Supercharger. And there's the generator rolled out. Got one plugged into our wing and one plugged into our hip. See the ones there? They go up into the wings, and then one over here off our hip. Looks like a normal gas tank. Cute little generator. It doesn't have a logo on it. Archer, the Joby generator has a Joby logo on it.
Poke, 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 poke.
It charges fast. Well, it just depends if you're in a hurry. So I've got it on 32 times, but if I'm doing role playing and I've got my camping going and my dog's out, I'll just set it to normal one time.
The camp out utility add-on for the simulators. So
yeah, it's already topped up. In other videos, as we move forward, it talks about setting up your flight plans, and we'll go over using the autopilot. We'll go over using everything that you really want to know. There's a lot of different screens and utilities in here. For example, your internal and external lights right there.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Barometrics, your barometer.
I accidentally toggled a different scene.
Everything's nice and simple, just touch screens. I love the touchscreen Garmin's. Clock, timer. Avionics settings and database status. So some things you can modify in there. So much stuff in a tiny little package. Building flight plans in this thing is easy. So if you want to build one on the fly or change things and just pull the direct to, or it's quite amazing. If you don't know how to use autopilots and you're not that far along in your training, hurry up. Hurry up, because I think if you think to yourself, man, can it actually do long distance cross-country flights? Well, yeah. Yeah, if you know what you're doing, you get it up in the air fast, you transition fast, you conserve your energy, you can do, 100 miles. All right, so we're getting ready to go again and get back out to the runway and finish up some more tests on this one. This was kind of a long one. The other ones won't be so long, but I wanted to get everything that they wanted tested done in this latest one. Plus, I kind of knew what I was doing now. I was getting the feel for it. I didn't really get the feel for using the left-hand interceptor for throttle. You can use a throttle for your throttle. Like if your joystick has a throttle on it, you can do that. But I'm really trying to do it the Archer way. I really want to understand their mindset before I impose my own. I've also heard that in the real world, the Archer interceptors, right or left, they don't have twist.
Yeah, what's up
Now,
with
I
that?
couldn't seem to find anything in the FAA. Well, the AI couldn't find anything at the FAA that would prohibit the use of a twist controller in this cockpit. And all I can then want to say to Archers, if you can, why don't you? This generation of ours, of mine, and the ones around us, we've all grown up with these joysticks with Sidewinder control and hat buttons and other buttons and buttons and buttons. More buttons. But we've managed over the years until recently, before Star Citizen and everybody wanted to do these 2 joystick setups, we had become quite accustomed to doing everything with just 1 joystick. And so, at least let them both have twists, and at some point in the future, it would be great.
We don't
to
know
see
what the
this
final
all
version of the Archer is going to look like. We
into
just don't
one
know.
Right-handed controller or left-handed controller that you can just pick.
I think they could get everything into one
But after a
joystick
while, I
with
might-
these dynamic controls.
I might say, hey, you know what? I really, really, really now prefer
But yeah,
a right and a left-handed controller. And I don't know yet. I haven't got there yet. I don't have enough experience. But always wanting to keep it more and more and more simple has, it's a goal. Because getting into aviation is hard enough. One little thing here, one little thing there. If you can simplify. And the design of this thing and the way she handles everything is simplified. And so, if you can, then please do. Maybe you have different options out there. Different interior kit options.
I've been simplified. Huh.
So just doing more of those tests, just increasing speed, decreasing speed. Now I'm
Look
doing
in my
hovers,
face, look in my soul.
again,
I begin
more
to
hovers.
simplify.
Doing my side to sides, my zigzags, testing all control surfaces, lifting off, and doing actual takeoffs, but I'm not going anywhere, just back down the runway. Trying to decelerate, trying to maintain hovers. Yeah, there, decel switch, slow to hover. So trying to do transitioning, detransitioning. I've managed to pull up on the MFD, the one on the right, my satellite alignment screen. It's my alignment to all the GPS satellites and their status. And I did not know how to get rid of that.
It's in the Garmin somewhere. I toggled it on.
It's something when I was showing you earlier, messing around in the Garmin, little touchpad Garmin down there in the middle. I was messing with map functions or screen settings.
I think I'm just here to be
We still have
redundant.
our energy configuration stuff on the right side. Just now we have that satellite stuff up. All right, here we go again. I'm doing just going very, very, very fast down the runway. We're entering into takeoff speeds. And rup. I've taken off. I'm flying now. And thinking to myself, I think I'm starting to get the hang of this. Now I'm decelerating and slowing back down, and I'm going to transition back to hover. And I'm also messing with my hold controls. So like I'll speed up a little bit and then I'll press the button and like hold. There's a touchdown. and I'll increase the speed, press the hold button, and try to hold the speed there. So learning how to fix your speed or lock it in, dial it in. Again, having one of the extra hat keys in case for whatever reason I want to use that for throttle instead of pushing and pulling, you can do that. All right, coming to a full stop again. Back to hover. Is this the end? Is this right? You say, hey, that's everything we need to test. We're done. We're just gonna go park it now and shut it off. Isn't it nice? You just flip a switch, either to ground or fly mode, and it just powers the whole system up. That's it. I'm bringing it in for to conclude this test. I think I mentioned earlier then I think I have footage now coming up from like way earlier in the day, same day, and then testing from the day before, and possibly even some from the day before that.
Yeah. What I was saying is that you can't get this kind of experience outside of an F-35.
Performance I'm getting in this one, if you refer from this one to the other ones that you're going to see, you're going to see a lot of drifting and slewing, and you're going to see crashes, and it's not pretty. Well, mostly. I think, I have...
It did all right.
I have it down mostly. Still can be pretty ugly. There we go. Just turn it off.
That's it.
It's like the F-35.
Exactly.
Cockpit. Everything's just so simple. It's so wonderful seeing the vertical takeoff and landing technology plus the computerized cockpit from the F-35 come down to us mere mortals. The dogs. No other aircraft.
I let the dogs out.
Other than, again, unless it's brand new and somebody else in the field of eVTOL working on this same kind of thing. No other aircraft in the world have the simplistic
the camp out utility.
F-35
That's fantastic. Yeah, I can't start a day of testing.
Oh yeah, so here we are earlier
without
again,
some
that
good
same
food
day,
and some
way
coffee.
Earlier. I set up my camping utility and set out the dogs and set up some food because it was going to be a long day of testing. Wanted to make sure coffee was there. And eggs and hamburgers and stir fry for the vegans out there. So basically going to go through all that again. Every time I start up, get down there to our switches, switch it to ground mode or fly mode. Oh, I've decided let's just look around the cockpit. There's the right hand interceptor. There is a bar that doesn't function. Here is our autopilot deck, our primary and secondary displays.
I'm going to be out of sync for the next
Power
few
lift,
minutes.
I turned it off. It does need to be in the enabled setting. It's usually set to enable by default when you get into the aircraft, but I just turned it off, turn it back on to make a point. Okay, now switching over to ground mode, maybe. Yep. Okay, we're in ground mode now. Now our avionics will come alive. The nacelles might do a little bit of rotating, some small testing. The GPS is aligning on the left screen. Click the soft key on the first soft key on your right on the second screen to turn that one on. I'm wiggling the joysticks back and forth, up and down, left and right, doing a test of your controls. You can monitor their movement on the MFD. GPS is still aligning. Turning off LHI assist. Turn it off. Again, I'm not saying always don't trust me. You may find the zen. By leaving it on, you may discover the zen of it. There's no real documentation about the LHI assist in the user manual. All I know is that things don't normally work the way that the manual says that they should work with that being on. Here I am messing with the doors. See, this time they stayed open. It was a bug in the other one. And you see the generator. And now I'm outside. And again, now we can look into the aircraft with the doors open. I don't know why they put those little displays between the people. I mean, your neck is going to be so crimped by trying to look over and read a little digital display right at the side of your face. I'm sure they'll work it out. I'm sure they will work it out. And as always, the disclaimer is hey man, this is this may or not be what the final product is in the real world at all. This is just the best approximation at the moment. Right? They're trying to model it accurately, but again, things are going to change. They've got deals with NVIDIA on the way. They've got deals with these people. They've got deals with that people. They've acquired certain technologies that might change all kinds of things. So I am just at least thankful that we have the Archer Midnight for free with our purchase of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. I think you can get it for 2020. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, I'm putting it into fly mode now, and she's going to do her. You also get the tests. Joby for free and the Jetson. So if you're a big Joby fan too, Batman and Alfred are over there in the corner going, "Oh, this is nice. Oh, very nice." Especially Alfred. Oh, I'm old. Simple. So simple. I don't have to think about all these crazy Wayne buttons and switches and this and that and the other. It's just, a superhero vehicle, superhero supporter vehicle worthy of Alfred Pennyworth. Okay, I'm gonna do some taxing. Again, just push it a little bit, let it get a little bit of speed, and let go, and you've got a 4-knot taxi set. Beautiful thing. Always stopping at thresholds. Come on now, get a move on. Seems to be further out of sync. And we're at Meadow Lake Airport in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I wanted it so to reduce the memory load on the computer. So flying out of LAX or Hawthorne, LA's huge. And so I just wanted to be out here, someplace near my house, with not a lot going on around the area, not 1,000 million cars and a million buildings. Right? Airport traffic, ocean traffic. So I wanted to save the computer sanity and just come over to a nice quiet runway. All right, well, I think at this point, you know what I'm going to do as you watch these next tests. This is kind of a wind drift test now. So I'm just hovering in place here. It says right there, wind drift and joystick. This is where I discovered just how bad my old joystick is. And I've been keeping it for sentimental reasons. Down where that problem was with my right hand rudder controls. And you're going to see me doing some joystick tweaking in here, which is really important to find what you like. Like right now, I'm probably not touching the controller at all. And that's the kind of drift I'm getting. But it was through doing just a plain old hover. Just sit there and see if it drifts left and right. And try to get your controls set. Uh-oh, I lost it here. It accelerated on me again, which is in the manual to watch out for. An acceleration that'll get away from you, and I lost control, and we're going to crash. And we crashed. Oh, no.
It hasn't happened
So
yet.
anyway,
on my
just
screen.
trying to bring it up into a hover. And
That
just
too?
let it sit there. Check your winds. And if it's not the winds moving you around, isolate as many phantom motions as you can and try to get it to where it's not getting any input really in a hover.
Oh yeah, that's where it accelerates.
And
Now
when
I'm
you're
going out of
twisting
control.
and pushing and turning all at the same time, make sure there's enough dead zone so that as you twist, you might actually, you might actually be accidentally putting too much forward pressure or too much backward pressure. So if you're trying to do a sideways maneuver, but you're going forward or backward, either way, setting enough dead zone so when you move one way, it doesn't trigger another way. And then after that, I think all these next tests are going to be like weight tests, adding more weight, like I said. And you're going to see after takeoff and just a few minutes worth of testing by adding in lots of fat people and fat cargo, that the battery just dies so fast. And I crashed a couple of times on this runway, I think. Just fall 6 feet out of the air and crash. Here's some of the joystick calibration stuff. But I think you are pretty much going to have heard me say everything I needed to say about what I'm doing as far as the tests. I think you can now just watch them and realize what I'm trying to achieve. And so with that, my dear friends, again, please like and subscribe. Links are in the description for everything. And I think I'm going to go try to find some music that won't violate anybody's copyright and just try to add some music to the rest of these for your listening pleasure. If you have any questions, again, please don't hesitate to ask. And if you subscribe to me and you need a new follower, I will absolutely subscribe back. All right. As they keep doing more different types of tests, I'll keep doing more different types of tests. And I'm sure I'm going to be showing you a lot more Archer stuff in the future. Take care. Happy flying. So I found a Shatner's World commercial. I found an old comedy skit from UFP Media. Cool tracks like this one by Audio Hertz. So what I'm doing here again is trying to figure out what's causing my little subtle slides to the left or to the right. And in some cases I've gone in the weather settings and I've turned off the wind, and I was still getting movement side to side. So I'm going in there and through these screens. That's what I'm doing, just constantly trying to figure out where's the problem at. Can I try to fix it by adding a little bit more dead space in there, taking away some sensitivity, so I just tried so many different configurations, and ultimately I'm like, just turn it off on the right hand controller for right now until you switch these joysticks around. But once I did and turned it off, she became a lot more stable. So there's a potentiometer or something inside my old joystick that just, I can't get it to center up and stay. And anytime I just even gently touch it, no matter how much dead space or other I put in there, she picks up motion. So this joystick has served me well, and again, it's very, very sentimental. I have been wanting to get rid of it. So I'd like to, maybe if I could find somebody who can repair joysticks. I'd rather get it repaired than just get another brand new one to replace it. I want to put it on a pedestal and shine a light on it. It's been one of the best flight stick controllers I've ever had. The Logitech 3D Extreme.
Back when I bought it, it was $39. The price of everything has increased so dramatically. The lowest I've seen it now is, well, on Amazon used, about 30, 40 bucks. If it's a good working order. If not, 139. The latest I saw at Best Buy was like $169 for what used to be a $39.99 joystick. Folks, we've got to get these economies under control, at least our own economy under control. When I went and bought this new one, they charged me like $20 or more in taxes. And then they're like, would you like to donate to blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, look, I just donated $20 for taxes. No.
Thanks for flying UFP Starlines. We have arrived at Rigel 4. Please put your trays in the upright position and start exiting the Starliner. Chad?
Yes, please start filing out in an orderly manner.
This isn't Riza.
Oh, I'm sorry. Being responsible for your ticket destination is not part of my job description.
Hey.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for flying UFP Starlines. Bye-bye.
My luggage.
We'll beam outside. Bye-bye.
But
Follow my pointing fingers. Bye-bye.
Hi, excuse me. How many points do I get for this trip?
I'm sorry. Do my ears look pointy to you? Bye-bye.
Back when I first started the Star Trek internet radio stations, the world's first, we needed a transition music. And at the time, kind of like my right-hand man, his screen name is Mighty Mundane Mario Rodriguez. Little bit of a genius. He came up with this beautiful transition music that we would use when handing off to other DJs, coming into a show, leaving a show. Anyway, look on the screen. Look how much dead zone I'm trying to put in just to try to counteract the horrible phantom motion I'm getting from my old joystick. That's ridiculous. But I learned a lot. It wasn't for naught. If you have not done a calibration of your joysticks in a while,
makes grown women
definitely do it.
cry for more. My charm makes even birds buy discounted flights. My humor can make stone statues crack a smile. I burn so bright, I invented a new wattage. I am my own universe, floating freely, unexpectedly, uncensored. You want to climb Mount Everest with me? Kayak the Amazon? Hike the Andes? I lead. You want to smoke rare cigars and drink fine brandy on the terrace with me? You buy. And now you can do all these things, almost. Shatner's world is filled with stories from my illustrious life and career. You will discover and experience how I became William Shatner. Larger than life and bigger than any role I've ever played. Because let's face it, it is Shatner's world, isn't it?
Believe it or not, I would have you believe that I was the one who inspired William Shatner to begin doing Shatner's World. Those clips were sent, that clip and another were sent to me
They'll know you've arrived when you
by
drive
Shatner's
up
folks.
in the 1958 Edsel, the car that's truly new from nameplate to tail lights. New from the front. New from the side. New from the rear. Only Edsel has the sleek, clean line design that sets it apart from the look-alike cars. And it combines new looks with the newest V8 engines in the world, the big new Edsel 400 and the power-packed Edsel 475. It is unlikely you have ever driven a car with so much real, usable power as the Edsel. And with Edsel's exclusive Teletouch drive, you drive more safely, more easily than you ever have before.
Teletouch drive.
Because both hands can stay at the wheel while the Edsel shifts electrically. There's even the added luxury of new Edsel air suspension that's just like riding on air, because you are. And remember, of all the medium-priced cars, car for car, across the board, the 1958 Edsel is the one that's new and the lowest price, too. So see your Edsel dealer.
Excuse me. I believe it got a little bit smoky up in here. All right. So even with the springs messed up as much as they are, I was able to get a little bit more control out of being in, a stable hover. So now just back and forths at very low speeds. And that's all the Archer tests were earlier this month. This is all they have been doing. It's just turn left, go 1 knot, turn right, slew left, slew right. Increase speed to 2 knots, rinse and repeat. Increase to 3 knots, rinse and repeat. So I've been flight simming, I don't know, seriously since 2013, 2014. And in all the years that I have been an avid flight sim enthusiast, this is what I've been dreaming about. And it's finally here. I've done over 350 of these live streams, and in plenty of the earlier ones, I have rants about where's all the new technology. There used to be huge leaps and bounds when aviation first was started. A lot less regulations too, but I said, man, it's been so long. It's been over 50 years and we haven't had any major increases in the aviation technology. We're still flying around 50, 60, 70-year-old planes and not much has changed. So we've got a GPS. Whee! And I have been waiting, and then I finally got into the F-35 and I'm like, hey, now we're getting somewhere. This is some high-tech stuff here. Military aircraft have always perplexed me because in most aviation, everything you learn translates up, meaning once you learn it, you can take that information over to another plane and, it might not be exactly the same, but you'll figure it out. The information translates up, the knowledge translates up. Well, that is so much harder in anything military. And maybe that's initially by choice. You don't want any Yahoo getting good at flying and then hopping into a military aircraft and just immediately know what he's doing. Until the F-35, they've all been that way, where it's like you have to relearn everything. But then you hop into the F-35 and you're like, everything that you've learned translates up into that cockpit. And it's as simple as this. As a matter of fact, the interior looks very similar to this. But this is the kind of Star Trek technology that I've been waiting for. And going back 20 years, the FAA has been crying and crying and crying. As they looked towards where we are today, 20 years ago, they were crying that they were terribly worried that now, at this point in time, we would not have enough qualified pilots in aviation to operate the existing fleets anymore. And then stuff like this comes along, and I think, here's the answer to your dream.
Here's the answer to all of your crying. Finally, a leap forward with computerized controls and simplicity that you could implement into most any aircraft, I would think, eventually. In the chat room, Almost Aaron. Hello, Admiral. He says he was digging through a photo album and he found a group pic of his grandfather with an F-84. So I bought the T-33, which was its trainer. His grandfather was a fighter pilot in the Pacific. Wherever you are in time and space, sir. Wow. So, I think at this point I may or may not have added weight, but what I just heard, and I know that we're out of sync a little bit, is I heard the thing crash. So, again, 15 minutes at most of taxiing, hovering around, and it's already just chewed through the battery. I think I put 2, 4, 5, 6, maybe 600 pounds in passengers, like 200 for myself, 200 for somebody in the back, 170 for somebody else, and then 2 smaller kids, and then I put like 500 pounds in cargo, you know. So they're not joking. Hovering takes everything that the batteries have. So you always have to be thinking about that. You know, how you've got to really be on your toes with how far am I going? How much am I going to be in hover? How quickly can I get out of hover? Do I have enough reserve power when I get there to mess around being in a hover? They have no self recharging system as you see at the moment. There are others in the eVTOL field that are developing onboard generators. Here, I'm even adding more weight here. This is where I think I go crazy, adding heavy weights. So that's just a quick fill. There's 200 pounds in front and back seat. Where did I put it? Yeah, and you can manually change the weight. Maybe they can add a pedal crank for slight battery recharging. Yeah. I'm waiting for that old Tesla 1917 technology to come out. We've been waiting since. We could have had Wi-Fi in 1920. The government just didn't understand what technology was really like that back then. He created cellular technology in 1917. And the government shelved it and stopped its release until the when our first cell phones started coming out for cars and stuff. 1980s. That's how long the government nerfed us. But he was also working on wireless energy transfer. So that's what the Tesla towers were all about. The one at Wardenclyffe, and were building another one in the UK. And they were going to begin a series of wireless energy transmissions between the United States and the UK, as well as being able to be distributed out to anybody. That's where the whole idea that not Rockefeller, JP Morgan, who was the bankroller financier at that time, couldn't get his head around that they couldn't charge for energy. They just, at that time, none of them really understood what was coming, whether any of that is true or not. There are other weird stories out there, like when he turned his towers on, people would go crazy. I don't know what's true and what's not. But either way, that technology, the wireless energy transfer technology, you know, that would be ultimately ideal. So no matter where you're at any given time in your vehicle, as long as the satellite can see you, you can get a charge. I can't even imagine where we would be today technologically. If we had cellular and wireless communications by 1920s, 30s. So I'm sorry if this kind of testing right here is boring, but that's what they were doing, and that's what they've had. That's what you have to do. You know, 1 knot tests, 2 knot tests. The first test that you saw me do, the first series of tests, you know, I was already way beyond doing these, so I wanted to do, you know, liftoffs and floats and transitions, and while still performing the maneuvers that they want done. But yeah, these early ones, they can be a little bit dry. There are people out there working on the jet versions of these. J VTOL. They're gonna be EJ VTOLs and hybrids, electric jet vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. Woohoo! That is gonna be a hoot, man. Hopping up off the ground and transitioning to 500 knots. Gone. And same kind of thing. We've seen recently a lot of younger generation pilots in these fast little jets come screaming in and lose control. Not anymore. Every time, no matter what you're flying, no matter how experienced you are, ladies and gentlemen, taking off and landing, especially landing, you are always rolling death dice. Something can always go wrong on a landing. Boy, does it. And this kind of technology making its way to every aircraft is gonna take that death dice, for the most part, off the table. Or, you know, nerf it down to a D4. Right now it's at a D20 with a difficult rating of at least 10 in D&D terms. But yeah, all that stuff that can go wrong coming in for landing, it's all gonna go away. And whether we like it or not, AI is on the way, and they've got an agreement with NVIDIA at the moment for one type of AI that's going to be coming to the Archer cockpit called Thor, like the Avengers, Thor, Marvel's God of Thunder, or the Norse god. The IGX Thor AI is going to be incorporated into the Archer Midnight. And that's an AI that can help you with flight planning, with situational awareness, with full autonomy, and it's a conversational AI, meaning you could just chat with it about anything. So taking the death dice off the table, adding in advanced AI that can take over in case of an emergency or help you land. And that's just one thing that's coming. And there's so many more new things everybody is working on to bring urban air mobility to life. The FAA is busy creating all the new airspaces, the new highway systems in the sky for this low-level aviation. People working on all kinds of different little AIs that they want to add to the cockpit. New avionics systems for micro flight planning. I've done plenty of videos on that with when I'm usually talking about Archer or flying an Archer around. Is that we don't currently have avionic technology that allow you to make micro flight plans, like from here over to Home Depot, over to a park, over to grandma's house. You know, you can't create a flight plan right like that right now and file it. So we're going to need much more advanced micro, like Bing Maps and Google Maps, to where you tell Thor, okay, Thor, I need to go from here, then we're gonna go pick up Jason, then we gotta go to Home Depot, then I found out we're gonna go to Walmart, then we're gonna stop at a McDonald's, then we gotta go over to grandma's house, then we gotta take grandma over here, and we'll eventually be able to do that. Inner city flights and flight planning. And hopefully it'll be just as simple as it is now, even simpler with just touch screens, more touch screens, and again, just talking to the AI. You'll be able to file your flight plan just talking to the thing. You got all that, NVIDIA? Yeah. All right, let's do it. We live in such exciting times. I'm so happy to start seeing all this now after all those years of when, Lord? When are we going to see all this brand new cool Star Trek stuff? I enjoy flying my Cessna 172, Lord, but I'm ready for some Luke Skywalker stuff. Finally getting there. Are you considering investing in Archer Aviation or Joby or any other eVTOL? Have you ever invested before? I haven't. I'm new to it all. And there's a group of fellas online called the Hustle Brothers. They're not actually brothers but in spirit. And they are probably the only ones on YouTube that are just almost primarily exclusive to covering eVTOL, Archer, Joby, and they're knocking out news and info every day on the stocks and what's going on with the testing and just anything in the news, anything that has to do with these companies. They're all over it, and they do daily news. They do weekly live streams. They do on Twitter Spaces, just whenever they want to come on and say something. Anyway, so I really recommend following the Hustle Brothers. And right now I don't have their description in their link in my description, and I will try to remedy that soon. I might even be appearing on a Hustle Brothers podcast. One of the Hustle Brothers, Liam, he asked me last night if I'd consider possibly coming on to their podcast and giving a demo of flying around the Archer Midnight. And as nice as that sound, boy, if you've seen me fly, it's Murphy's Law. It always gets me, especially when it's important. Maybe I could just send them the best of some of these clips from my tests. Maybe even the clips of the transitions and that flight from Hawthorne over to KLAX. And that way save myself the humiliation of screwing up, giving a live demo. You know something will go wrong. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I may just bite the bullet and do it anyway. No matter what, I want to say yes. No matter what, whatever you want. I'm in, sure. Oh, here's where my throttle got away from me, and I just hit that building. This is, I hadn't fully understand how they wanted me to use the left-hand controller as the primary throttle and for acceleration and deceleration. So I was using the throttle, and when I lifted off in a hover, my throttle was slightly non-neutral towards the rear, and I flew when I hit that building. Or the throttle's not fully neutral and it's set forward and you go taking off forward. Here's where I'm going to have a hell of a time trying to just get centered over that H, the helipad, and land the thing. This is not me being clever and just flying around the thing. This is me literally going to try to hover over the H and then do a touchdown. And I can't do it. This is even earlier than the other tests, and I still hadn't even realized that the right-hand joystick was creating such amazing phantom motion that I couldn't maintain a steady hover. And it all feels good like there. I'm like, oh, everything seems to be good. I'm not really getting a lot of movement. All right, let's get over this H here and get right over the center and come down and pull a landing. Oh, and then I'm using the throttle again. I'm not intuitively using the joystick the way that they want me to. And so I push forward, then I go too far forward. And I try to go back, and it's not responsive fast enough, so I keep going back further than I want. And then forward further than I want. And then side to side more than I want. This little bit of testing was extremely frustrating. And it seems so nice and peaceful and serene. Yeah, he's just floating around up there, man. No. I'm not happy right now. Grumbling and cursing. I'm like, oh, I think I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. I don't got it. You son of a burp. As you can see, she's got a mind of her own. Yeah, my comment, it picked that up. I'm talking to the mic. So I saw in the number of the runway tests too, where it seems as though their pilot had similar things happening. I'm sure their joysticks are calibrated, but again, the thing can just get away from you from time to time. And there were tests that I was looking at where there are lines showing them on the runway go off the runway and not at taxis, like in some of my other tests here, where you just drift off to the side of the runway, or they're making a turn and it drifts outside the runway, you know. So seems these are all little tiny things we're all going to learn getting experience with this aircraft. Yeah, I gave up on that one. Again, here I'm still using the throttle, and I can hear little clicks in the background. It makes little clicking noises as you move it forward and backwards. So I don't remember if I'm going to be doing just some ground handling or hover handling. Seems like I'm doing some more hover. And you see how I'm going backwards? Again, the problem with using the throttle, if it's not perfectly centered on neutral and you lift off, next thing you know, you're crashing into the building behind you. So I deeply encourage you to try and set it up, even with one controller. Try to set it up the Archer way. Learning to use the Y-axis for both throttle and acceleration and deceleration. At least just the throttle, so you know which direction you're going to go.
Hush. Hush.
Gesundheit. I can't wait to get my hands on the Joby S4 user manual now. Now that I've done all this, I think I'm going to understand the Joby a lot more. But there are things I've been watching in videos on the Joby that I didn't know about. So learning to fly the Joby as well as the Archer is going to be fantastic. I can't blame the Archer for any problems. The Archer works the way it's intended to work. All the errors and mistakes have been, I believe, all my own. All caused by me. I can't put any blame on this simulated version. Nope. they suggest if you are using a throttle, that when hovering, always joggle it into a forward position so you're not surprised. If it's going to be one or the other, try having it set a little bit more forward. This was my first afternoon doing some tests, and I wanted to at least try doing one transition for you. Just a conventional takeoff. And then back to the required testing. In this one, I found out that you can configure like a reverse thrust. So every test you've seen up to this point, I haven't been using the reverse thrust. But when I had my throttle set up, I had it so when you pull it all the way back down towards idle, and mine's got a little detent that allows you to go just a little bit beyond idle, so it locks in reverse thrust for airliners and other aircraft that have a reverse thrust. And yeah, sure enough, the Archer took to it fine. So I was able to, and you'll see in just a few minutes, how I do a lot of just flying around backwards, doing circles and slews and zigzags backwards. I think I also do some climb test. How fast can I climb? How fast can I come back down? A neat feature built into the Archer: as soon as weight is felt on the wheels, the nacelles immediately shut down to allow you and your passengers to get out safely. The Joby at the moment doesn't do that. When you land in a Joby, you've got to make sure that the engines are off and into a neutral and off position before disembarking your people. So there's so many little things about the Archer. Everybody's like, well, which one do you prefer? Which camp are you in? Are you Camp Archer or Camp Joby? I'm a camp.
I'm a very lucky boy.
Oh, commercial. I'm in a Tootsie Roll.
I'm a very lucky girl. I got a Tootsie Roll Pop.
Years.
All of the kids in the neighborhood say Tootsie Roll Pop's a triple good. Triple good.
Triple good. Sure, because one, on the outside there's a delicious hard candy. Two, on the inside there's a chewy, chocolatey Tootsie Roll center. And three, a Tootsie Roll Pop has that extra special flavor-giving goodness because only a Tootsie Roll Pop is two candies in one pop.
And you remind your mom to buy the Tootsie Roll Pops Party Pack. 10 delicious pops in assorted flavors. And look, there's a game or puzzle on the back, too. So remember, all of the kids in the neighborhood say Tootsie Roll Pops are triple good. Triple good. You'll love Tootsie Roll Pops.
Oh, and I do. You see the little gazebo and windsock?
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl.
Part of the camp at utility.
Tonight, show him how much lovelier your hair can look after a Luster Cream shampoo. Only Luster Cream brings you Kay Dumit's magic formula blend of secret ingredients plus gentle lanolin. Gives loveliness lather even in hardest water. Glamorizes your hair as you wash it. Luster Cream, not a soap, not a liquid, but a dainty cream shampoo. Leaves hair fragrantly clean, free of loose dandruff, glistening with sheen, soft, manageable. Gives new beauty to all hairdos or permanents. 4-ounce jar, $1. Smaller sizes, either tubes or jars. Tonight, Try Luster Cream Shampoo and be a dream girl, beautiful Luster Cream girl. You owe your crowning glory to a Luster Cream Shampoo.
I want a Luster Cream Shampoo. Hitman by Kevin MacLeod. Oh yeah, that gazebo, the chairs, the windsock, all that part of the camp out utility, which you can get in the marketplace for MSFS. Parallel 42 have also released a fishing add-on for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I want to get that very, very, very soon. I love highlighting and featuring camp spots around my state, and now I want to start going cross country looking for other great camping and fishing areas. And I'm doing zigzags and slews and twists, going up and down. There's a good climb. See how I went out of the runway? Some of the Archer folks did the same thing. Just having too much fun. But mine is mostly at this time caused by that joystick issue. So as I was trying to do turns or twists, especially just trying to do a side to side, doing that, even with a bunch of dead zone in there, it would still kick that rudder in, so it was hard to do perfect side to sides. All of tonight's music, well, most of tonight's music has been from YouTube's Creator Music and is licensed under Creative Commons. So if you need some decent tracks, there's a lot of them. So despite not everything being set right, she still performs beautifully. So that's why I think when people get into it and they just jump into the thing and start trying to figure out how to fly it, it's not too bad. I mean, you can mostly figure it out.
Up your shaft.
Hey, laser bolts. I'm so sorry. You love this aircraft. Yes. Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Now, I'm a first-time investor. I'm now invested in Archer and Joby. I'll be doing another one of these videos for Joby soon as I go through their user manual. This was such an eye-opener. I learned so many things that I did not know, or that you just can't figure out intuitively about this particular aircraft when setting it up. I really loved your shows on Friday. I'm glad I got to really spend more time last Friday. I was setting up for this one. I've been working on compiling all these videos and making them all week. But I really enjoy watching you fly that Hercules. She's such a beast. Any of the variants that you've been flying. And you've got a wonderful group of friends over there that you do your Friday night flights with. Tonight's scenery that you were flying around the jungle was absolutely beautiful. I think I make a comment coming up here in on the text screen where I say this thing is a dream come true. The Archer and the Joby are dreams come true. I mean, look at the Hercules that you fly, and look at where we've come with all the cockpit controls up to most common. Let me turn this dubstep stuff down. Just the condition of the cockpit's still just, there's so much going on, and you know, everything is just so simple now, or can be simple with these kind of controls. It's really pretty mind-blowing how much they have slimmed down the cockpit. The only other cockpit I've seen this slimmed down is the F-35, which is a wonder. It's very much like this. There's really not a whole lot going on in the cockpit. Everything's touchscreen driven. You're one heck of a good pilot. Just again, the immensity, and I know that's pretty small still compared to some other aircraft, but the Hercules, she's something else, and you just put her down beautifully. Everybody you fly with, they all do great landings. Mr. Hopper, I think he's the older gentleman that's like your sidekick. If I have it right, he's the other gentleman we always hear providing comments in the background. You can occasionally hear some of the other folks talking, but there's one particular older gentleman that kind of stands out in the background. And so if I have it right, that's Captain Hopper. Seems like a great fella too. I like how when you put it down, you always do little breaks. So I was going to mention that one, the first night I tuned in, you pulled in, you pulled over, everybody got to go take a break. I'm like, and I was about to tell you, but I didn't want to be dumb. Hey, have you seen the camp out utility? I'm going to go over here and I'm going to set up if we were flying together, I'd set up my little canopy over there, set out some chairs. You can get a campfire and a little cookout grill with the coffee on it, and some eggs, hamburgers, and stir fry. Oh, that is coast, actually. Okay, well, I'll try to get that right next time. What were you talking about the other night? And I agreed with you. Egg Foo Young. You were talking about Egg Foo Young the other night, and I said, oh man, I'm an Egg Foo Young fanatic. Well, that and sweet and sour pork. But you can always tell if a place is good or not by ordering the Egg Foo Young. And you're right, it is. I never thought I'd be into bean sprouts, but I'm like, come on, add some more. Come on, throw them in there. Yeah, love myself some Chinese food. Well, I love everything. Like the Archer can carry up to 1,000 pound, 10, whatever. And I'm like, that's just me. I'm going to be flying this thing solo. I don't remember which, if you were talking about television programs that you've been watching recently, but the ones that are on my radar, well, one I just finished was Young Sherlock on Amazon Prime, and it was a rather well done retelling and reimagining Sherlock in his college years, sorta. And actually being friends, really good friends with Moriarty at that time. So, if I don't, I mean, who's to say, that that's not what was going to happen or how it was intended? Who knows? I don't. I'm just taking it for what it is. I'm not a Sherlock Holmes snob, and I enjoyed it. And this week, Daredevil Season 2 on Disney Plus has started, and that's going to be good. I really enjoyed it on Netflix a little bit more. They were a little bit more gritty, but still holding up pretty good. So, what else? That's pretty much it. I think those are the only two on my mind this week. You loved Young Sherlock. Yeah, fantastic. And every cast person, they were all great.
Being pecked by a radioactive bird, a somewhat mannered Tuthill was compelled to become Kinneas, the Sky Dude.
That's how it happened. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Pecked by a radioactive bird. That's it. That is it. Well, time flies when you're having fun. Man. Well, thank you for tuning in tonight and coming in here and catching the end of this. I really appreciate that. It's good to see you, and I really enjoy your show very much. I am going to learn how to fly the Hercules. Now that I've seen you guys flying around, I want to feel like an expendable, sir. And I want to fly with expendables. So, I hope the folks over at Archer enjoyed it. I hope the folks over at Hustle Brothers enjoyed it. I hope anybody who is in the eVTOL community and who's a fan of Archer, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you pick up Microsoft Flight Simulator. And again, it comes free with your purchase. And, you're out there saying, I'm an Archer investor and I'm bullish on Archer. But you don't fly the thing. You haven't flown the thing. It is worth the price of the purchase. And you get the Joby too. And you get the Jetson. And there's other ones coming out soon. So, you should have the full reason. You should understand fully why you were investing in this company and why these aircraft are so amazing. All right. I don't have any plans for tomorrow, and I might be around in the late afternoon or tomorrow evening to continue. Just, I got to get back doing some career stuff, and I'm sure something else will pop up. And I hope I see you either this weekend or try to be back at it at it Monday. Thank you for your patience this week as I worked on these series of videos and tests, and I didn't make my afternoon live streams. Laser, sir, yes, you have a good night, sir, and if I don't catch any of your new stuff during the week, I'll try to catch you next Friday and not be on at the same time so I can spend a little bit more time. All right, folks, you have a great night. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Oh, the music's not playing. Well, what happened there? Ignore me, I'm not here. The show's over.